Welcome back. So today we're going to talk about reducing overwhelm. And the way we're going to do that is by taking stock of where we're at, and we're going to work on becoming 1% better each day in any area that we choose. Now, here's why this is important. We've all heard of the compounding effect, compound interest, and the way things will build, right, exponentially. We're no different. So imagine that you chose one area of your life, you got 1% better each day, and by the end of the year, you were 37 times better than you are right now in that area. 37 times. Now, okay, let's talk about this in terms of behavior and not terms of outcome. Because if somebody says, well, I lift 1,000 pounds right now and I want to lift 37 times that, perhaps not going to happen the same way. I mean, there are going to be physical restrictions in our world that keep us from doing certain things. So with that in mind, and being realistic and thinking about where we're starting, let's think about where most of us are realistically in terms of our health, our sleep, our energy, how we feel about ourselves, our body composition, our movement, our aches and pains. Now, if we were to take some of those, and we just did this quick analysis of ourselves. So let's make one up really quick. So let's start with sleep. How are we sleeping? Then how do we feel when we wake up in the morning? Okay, are we energized? Do we feel awake? Or are we tired? Then we'll go to the next one and say, how's our diet throughout the day? So we could say, how are we selecting our foods? And we can qualify those. Are they super healthy foods? Realistically, not what we think is healthy, but actually healthy foods? Do they get us closer to our goals or further away from our goals? Next, what is our movement like? Just in our body throughout the day. Like, do we have aches and pains? Can we do a deep squat and reach our hands over our head without any shoulder injury, knee pain, hip pain? Can we move well? Can we walk? Can we jog? Can we hop? Can we play? Where are we at there in terms of just our movement? Next, our exercise. What are we doing for our cardiovascular health? What are we doing for our resistance training? What are we doing for our mobility on a regular basis? What are we doing for relaxation? What are we doing for rejuvenation? What are we doing for rest? These are just a handful of areas that we can start with. So if we put a list there and we were to say, my energy, we have this assessment, right? Now, the assessments are only relevant when it's compared to something. So it's like, why do those even matter? Well, let's say we have a goal of having more energy, being within a healthy weight range, and lowering our blood pressure. So if we take those and then we look at what we have here, and we say, okay, well, stress management is definitely going to be one of those, and I don't have a stress management routine, so that's not going well. And then let's say our sleep is challenged because we're stressed and we're not able to manage ourselves, so we have to wait until we're exhausted to go to sleep or use some sort of sleep aid. And our diet isn't reinforcing any sort of healthy behavior because we're more reactive than we are proactive in the way that we're serving our body the foods that we're giving it. So if we were to take those and we removed, say, the movement part, but we just started with our sleep, we started with our stress levels, and we started with what we're putting in our body, we could grade ourselves there. And let's say we're not going to go for the Hail Mary, change everything at once. We're going to do something very small. Now, most of us have to get up at the same time every day. Most of us. Some of us might have a little bit more flexibility. But the challenge comes in when we're going to sleep. So let's say we're getting 4 hours of sleep, and we know we want to get to 7 hours of sleep. So we've tried in the past to go to bed 3 hours earlier, 2 hours earlier. That's a huge jump. It's huge, okay? Most of us have a nightly routine. We'll shower, we'll change our clothes, we'll brush our teeth, we'll floss our teeth, we'll do something, okay? And that's when we know it's ready for bed. We put the kids to sleep, the pets to sleep, we close down, we shut off the lights, we do all of that. So instead of saying 2 or 3 or even 1 hour before, what if we started that 10 minutes before? Just 10 minutes, okay? That gave us the opportunity to adjust our schedule to get to bed 10 minutes early. Or let's say we're stressed throughout the day and we don't have stress management techniques to begin to reduce it. Or let's say we don't even recognize when we're stressed, but we can feel the stress in our body. We can feel that tension and our aggravation levels are high. So perhaps we start looking at a handful of minor stress management techniques, something as simple as breathing, taking a moment to breathe. And there's a variety of breathing techniques. You can look those up, and I'll make another video on stress management breathing techniques. Simple stuff you can just do throughout the day where you can assign a trigger to that. And they're very simple. Now, this 1% stuff isn't new. If you've been with us for any amount of time, like training with us, you've probably heard about this for the last 20 years. It's been more popularized in the last, I want to say 5 years, 4 years, something like that. And who knows, I don't remember where I first heard it. I think it may have been at Tony Robbins or something like that, one of the Anthony Robbins seminars or programs that I had gone to. Maybe it was somewhere else, maybe in a book that I just don't remember. But it's been around for a long time. So when you hear about these things, you got to remember, if somebody's trying to take credit for creating it, probably not theirs, right? They've been around for a while, and most of that's with most things. What we have to think about is, instead of studying the roots and figuring out why it works, some of us just enjoy the fruit of, applying it and getting the result. That's the goal. So when we're looking at our 1% rule, we have this quick assessment. We're creating these different elements. Finding something very simple for stress management can be helpful. If we're looking at foods that we can eat, okay, now the foods that we eat, we might want to start reducing foods or adding more good foods to our diet. So if we just take a basic assessment of our meals, are they balanced? And are they moving us towards our goals? If you watched our other videos in terms of assessments, and let's say the stress is causing high blood pressure, or we're not able to settle down at the end of the night, you could, and I'm not kidding, you could do a simple Google search of foods that help you calm down in the evening. Foods that help reduce high blood pressure. I mean, we don't have to try to figure it out, and that's what's really important. A lot of us, because we don't know where to go, but we know that the problems exist, have never taken the time to ask the right questions. And what we want to do is simply identify the outcome that we want, the challenge that we have, assess where we're at, and then ask a good enough question to help us get a result on a 1% activity that we can do. Chances are you could even Google creating a 1% habit to help me accomplish better sleep. And somebody's probably already done the work. The goal is to bring to your awareness that 1% daily compounded will make you 37 times better in that area of your life. And that's pretty amazing. And it's going to seem so small and so insignificant and so, it breaks down any insurmountable activity to something that you can easily conquer and do as a part of things you're already doing. Remember, we already move, we already eat, we already sleep. We're already moving through life at some level. If we can make it 1% better, we can make magnificent changes, and it starts right here. So when you begin to start changing the way you think about things, start changing those habits, the byproduct is going to present itself and manifest itself in your world. So let's get started today. Just make a small list of areas in your life. Think of areas that you want to improve. Think of a 1% thing that you can start to do on a regular basis and add that and see how that works out. If you got questions, get involved below. Comments. If you've done this before, do it. I mean, lots of people talk about this stuff. This isn't new. So if you've done this before, write in some of your experiences. I would love to hear those, as well as some of the resources that you used to help reinforce those behaviors. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video.